For more than 1,000 years, there was one name that basically defined the Western world: Rome. It built an empire of staggering power, unbelievable sophistication, and then it was gone. Or was it? Today, we're going to get into the incredible story of how Rome fell and how its ghost, in a way, never really left. So here's the real puzzle, right? The Romans were so good at creating stability that they literally named an era after it, the Roman peace. So how on earth does an empire that basically perfects peace just crumble? That's the big question we're digging into. Okay, so before we can talk about the fall, we've got to talk about the climb. You have to appreciate just how high Rome got. Its absolute peak was this incredible period of stability that, ironically, set the stage for everything that came after. Pax Romana, the Roman peace. Seriously, just think about that for a second. We're talking about more than 200 years. That's about as long as the United States has even been a country. For that entire time, the whole Mediterranean world was mostly peaceful. And this wasn't just no fighting. No. This was an explosion of growth, of trade, of culture swapping on a level the world had never, ever seen. And what's so cool is how all these pieces fit together. It was like a perfect engine. You have stability, right? That means it's safe to travel and trade on all those famous Roman roads. That trade brings people and ideas together, creating this shared culture and set of laws. And what does all that lead to? Yep, massive wealth and prosperity. It was this incredible cycle that just kept feeding itself. But here's the ultimate irony. The very things that made Rome strong, all those amazing roads, those busy trade routes, those connected cities, they became superhighways for something else, a new idea. An idea that was about to spread like wildfire and challenge the very core of what it meant to be Roman. And that idea was a new face: Christianity. You know, it started out as this tiny little movement way out on the fringes of the empire, but it was about to travel down those very same Roman roads and shake the empire to its absolute core. I mean, look at this. It's a total clash of civilizations. On one side, you have the old Roman way: tons of gods, and the emperor is basically a god on earth. Your number one loyalty? The state, period. But then in comes Christianity saying, nope, one god, and our ultimate loyalty is to a power higher than any emperor. You can see why this wasn't just a simple religious squabble. This was a direct hit to the whole political system. And man, did this new faith take off. It just exploded. It flowed through the empire's veins, those roads and sea routes we talked about, and its message of community and hope resonated with everyone, from the lowest slave to the highest noble. It got so big, so powerful, that it went beyond just challenging the old gods. It started to fundamentally change what it even meant to be Roman. Okay, so while all this massive change was happening on the inside, things were starting to get really messy on the outside. The pressure was building. That golden age, well, it couldn't last forever. The final dramatic chapter for the Western Roman Empire was just beginning. See, the fall wasn't like flipping a switch. It was more like a slow-motion avalanche of problems. First, the empire just got too big to handle from one place, so it literally split in half, creating a whole new center of power in the east. Then you've got money problems, constant wars, and then the unthinkable happens. In 410 AD, the city of Rome itself gets sacked. This hadn't happened in 800 years. The shockwaves from that, I mean, you can't overstate it. It was like a sign to everyone that the whole thing was starting to crumble. 476 AD. That's the date. That's the one historians always point to. It's the year the last domino finally fell. The last Roman emperor in the West was kicked off his throne. And just like that, it was over. Just let that roll around in your head. 500 years, 5 centuries of power, of culture, of law in the West, just gone. It was truly the end of an entire world. But was it really the end of Rome? And this is where the story gets really interesting because, see, empires can fall, buildings can crumble, but ideas? Ideas are a lot harder to kill. The government of Rome, the political machine, that was gone. But Rome? The idea? Oh, that was just getting started. So when the dust finally settled, what was actually left? Well, if you start looking around, you'll see it.
The ghost of Rome is everywhere. It's baked right into the foundations of the world we live in today.
I'm serious, it's everywhere. You ever wonder why they call languages like French, Spanish, and Italian romance languages? It's not about love, it's because they come from Rome. They're the modern echoes of Latin. Our whole legal system, ideas like innocent until proven guilty, straight from a Roman playbook. The Catholic Church, which was the central institution in Europe for centuries, basically built itself on the old Roman administrative framework. And don't even get me started on the architecture and engineering that are still standing today. It's amazing.
So here's the takeaway. It's all connected. The Roman peace created the perfect environment for this new faith to grow. That faith completely changed the empire from the inside out. Then the empire collapsed. But out of the rubble, a new world was built. And what blueprints did they use? The Roman ones. Peace, faith, fall, it's one continuous story. A story that leads right to our doorstep.
So that really leaves us with one last question to think about. When you look at your own life, the language you might speak, the laws that protect you, even just the design of the buildings around you, which piece of Rome is still a part of your world today?